Hit the field, blast off, watch them all fall. This is AFC North Talk. Got me hype, it's about to be a touchdown. Got the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and the Browns. Are you listening? It's time to get it hype. Tune in when the season poppin'. Yeah, we going live. Hey, knock 'em out. Hey, first down, going hard. Yes, indeed. AFC North Talk. Let's go. Hey, AFC North Talk.
Welcome to another edition of AFC North presented by Manscaped. We're gonna be talking about them later. How you guys doing today, fellas?
Feels good.
Feels great, man. You feel good, Guru? You
No,
all right?
I had a crappy weekend. I had a shitty weekend. The Orioles lose, right? The Orioles get swept. They didn't get swept through the whole years, and they decided to get swept in the regular season. So shout out to them because they had a good season, but still, that was not good. I bet at Maryland, right? Because it was Maryland plus 17.5, and they were covering, and then the fourth quarter happened. Same thing that the Ravens did. We'll talk about them later. Watching the Ravens game, right? Watching the Ravens game, getting pissed, and you know what happens? Don't watch your team as your team is not doing good while you're trying to cook and peel stuff. Then I get 2 stitches in my hand because not happy. Anyway, that was my weekend. That's how I did.
That was not a good weekend, bro. I hope your hands are right there.
It's okay. They took 2 stitches. That's fine right now. It's recovering. Anyway, Q was coming, guys. He's feeling under the weather, so shout out to Q. Hope he feels better. He said that he should be back on the preview show, which we'll be doing on Friday. So make sure you sub and hit the bell. Also, by the way, before people start calling Q, because I know he posts videos throughout, doing a live show is hard, guys. Like, we're here sometimes hour to 2 hours. If you're not feeling good, I mean, I did it through COVID. It was not fun. It's taxing. So, shout out to everybody that likes the videos. Shout out to everybody that comments on the videos. The people that support us on Patreon. The people that the super chat. Thank you all a lot. I mean, we don't take it lightly when you guys donate. We don't take it lightly if you do super chats. Even if we have fun with you guys for the super chats, self-falling games. We enjoy good trash talking, right? There's lines that should never be crossed, but if it's trash talking, whatever. We do it between us. We like when you guys do it to us. We do it back to y'all. So anyway, just want to make sure that is being said. We have a couple super chats before we go into the Bengals game. Noah Stone here says LJ played great, has no help. He still ain't clutch. He's been clutch in some games in the past, but we'll talk about him there. At least I had Chase in fantasy football starting this week.
Yes, sir.
Uno Resurrection. John has these games every year. Has to go like Bill. Oh, he has to go like Bill. So you're canning John Harbaugh
and Bill Belichick.
This
is nasty. Nasty work.
Two potentially Bill Belichick is a Hall of Fame coach. John Harbaugh, you can argue, like Tomlin, are definitely consideration. If either of them win another Super Bowl, I think they're a lock, but definitely consideration with the career. So Noah Stone's like, yeah, I don't care. Can them both. Steelers own Baltimore. Lamar is TJ's son. Remember what I said that I was disgusted every time that I had to read some of the super chats in here? These are the ones that I hate when I have to read them. But shout out to you. I am Prime. Hopefully I read that okay. Ace.
Yep.
Let's talk about this game. Your Bengals against the Cardinals. We talk about the Cardinals being scrappy. We talk about, I don't know if we call it a trap game. I don't think we use that word against this. I think you call it, I know Joe Burrow call it a must win. And we talk about how the Cardinals were scrappy and how they fight. My problem with the Cardinals has been all year. It's like they are great for, especially in the first half, and then as the third quarter comes, they start twinkling down. And the first, and I have said throughout the year, minus the Cowboys game, they didn't do it in the Cowboys game. They're definitely tanking because they start so good, and then they did it against the Giants. They did it against who they played week 1? Oh, Commanders.
Yep.
Yeah, they done it to all these teams that are like folded, but That was not necessarily the case in this game. In this game, it was you guys play well throughout. It wasn't like you guys were beat from behind, which is what the Cardinals had done to the other teams. You establish a good game plan. I mean, it was a solid performance for the for the Bengals. What was your thoughts? We had Chase Resurrection, right? We have some reminiscent of what I'm assuming Bengals fans have been expecting all year. Like this is some reminiscent of what they have been expecting. I know T Higgins didn't play. Do you know also T Higgins going forward? What is his availability?
Yeah, T. Higgins is dealing with a rib injury. He kind of wanted to play, but it just didn't make sense for us to get him to expose him to any kind of injury or anything like that. So I don't even know if he would play this week. I would assume, and this is just me, like he could play this week, but I would just keep it safe and let him, miss this game, go into the bye week, get that rest, get about 3 weeks of rest before he returns from an injury like that because it has a fracture and it's also like a pain tolerance kind of thing. So in this game, I would expect, T. Higgins for the most part to sit this next one, come back after the bye. But in terms of this game, there wasn't just a Jamar Chase resurrection. There was a Joe Burrow resurrection. That like take the Cardinals or the opponent out of it. I don't care. One of the biggest things that Bengals fans cheered for in this game was when Joe Burrow got pressure in the pocket and actually moved around. We have not seen him do that thus far this season. He has been literally the Statue of Liberty in the pocket. I have never cheered for Joe Burrow getting sacked before outside of this game. He ends up dodging 2 or 3 defenders, goes down for the sack, takes the hit, and people are like, "Oh, he's moving. Like what's going on?" And to be honest, we've heard Joe Burrow in interviews say each week it's getting better, but we saw what happened in the Titans game. So we Bengals fans kind of tuned that out, even though like throughout the week people were saying his mobility is coming back and this and that, and we're like, yeah, whatever. We've heard that for 4 weeks. But in this game, you actually saw it, and it completely changed the offense. The Bengals didn't change anything from a game plan standpoint. I kind of talked about that. Like, I didn't really like Zach's game plan because essentially what was happening is Joe Burrow's dropping back. If the 2 options or 3 options are covered, he's pretty much just sitting there. This week, you saw some of that stuff with Jamar Chase, especially times where he was double teamed, but you saw Burrow get what makes Joe Burrow, the ability to extend the play. And that was back in a major way this week. That's the biggest thing from this game. I don't care that it was the Cardinals. I don't care that of course I care that they got a win because it was a must win, but I'm not caring about that. I'm caring about the fact that Joe Burrow looks like he is back. And then you get Jamar Chase, not only in this game, you get a heavy dose of him without T. Higgins in this game, and you give him 19 targets. I literally just talked about that last game. Like, you have to target Jamar Chase. And when they did, it was insane. And Burrow, I know last year I used to talk a lot about the next gen stat, the adjusted completion percentage. Well, if you looked at his numbers through the first 4 weeks, they were not good. And usually when I look through those numbers the previous year, Joe Burrow always had a plus in that category. This last game, he was only supposed to be able to complete, I believe, 72% of those passes or something like that. He ended up with a delta of 7. So he actually completed, more passes than expected according to next gen stats. That's what I'm used to seeing from Burrow. The other thing that I'll say in this game is I talked about they have to run the ball because one of the things which was weird is they were not calling enough runs while he was going through this whole injury kind of situation. And it was extremely weird. Although Joe Mixon didn't have a great game from the yards per carry standpoint, the fact that they ran the ball allowed for them to open up so many different things in this game. And another person that's kind of going under the radar that they got going early in this game that I appreciated Zach doing was Trenton Irwin. Trenton Irwin had 10 targets in this game, was able to bring in about 8 of those. They really started off getting Joe some layups. And Joe started off this game 10 for 10. It was like he was on point. He really looked like the guy that we were expecting there. And then Jamar Chase just could not be guarded. This was a Jamar Chase game for sure, 192 yards. Gets a franchise record in this game as one of the youngest Bengals receivers ever with the 15 catches. The other thing, like I said, running Joe Mixon 25 times was key. The other thing that I'll say as well is the defense. The defense stepped it up. The Cardinals were feisty in that game. The Bengals jumped out to a lead, 10-0. But the Cardinals came back. The Cardinals came back, tied it up, took the lead momentarily. The Cardinals were supposed to have the lead going into the half. What ends up happening is one of the biggest plays and one of the biggest momentum changers in the game was Cam Taylor-Britt getting that pick six. Mm-hmm. And it seems like from looking at it, apparently the Cardinals had a concept error. Something happened there where a receiver was supposed to run a slant. Cam Taylor-Britt picks it off, goes into the half, and the Bengals end up pretty much controlling it from there on out. But the Cardinals, they did some things. Hollywood Brown was able to score on a weird play where the Bengals put in Jalen Davis. I couldn't really understand why, a practice squad guy or an active guy like Jalen Davis was in. Maybe it's because Mike Hilton was struggling, but they got beat on that play. But after they had a couple of mishaps, they were really able to tighten up. The CTB pick six. You also look at the rookie DJ Turner. I cannot say enough about him. Not only was T. Higgins out of this game, Cheeto was out of this game like as a game time decision. And so DJ Turner was able to show a lot. He almost had his first interception. There actually were a couple of dropped interceptions in this game by the defense against Dobbs. The Bengals you probably could say they could have had 5-6 interceptions. Logan Wilson dropped one. Trey Hendrickson dropped one. DJ Turner dropped one in the same game. They still ended up with 2 interceptions, which were crucial in this game. So even though from a yards perspective, they probably didn't give the greatest performance, they still were able to convert those turnovers into points and get them when they needed them to. And then the biggest thing to me, if you're a Bengal and you have not been happy with the Nick Scott situation, like the Dax Hill situation has been fine. The Nick Scott situation has been the issue. They finally played Jordan Battle, who me personally, I've always been a Jordan Battle guy. I thought that he should have started over Nick Scott from the get-go. But as soon as Jordan Battle gets in the game, has a pass breakup, ends up coming through on a sack to change the trajectory on a huge play. Every play that the kid was making was a huge play. He got an 87 PFF grade. He had 40% of the snaps, which is way up. So Nick Scott seems to be kind of getting phased out from that safety role. And it seems like a kid like Jordan Battle, who I love with his instincts, was able to start as a freshman at Alabama for a Nick Saban defense. He had a huge imprint on this game. So on the defensive side, a lot of the stuff that it showed me was that this young secondary is ready to step up between DJ Turner, CTB, Jordan Battle, Dax Hill. All of them had some kind of play of impact in this game. Now, the other side of things, the defensive line, Trey Hendrickson is on a mission. I don't know what they done did to Trey Hendrickson this season, but he's looking more like Trey Hendrickson from 2021 during the Super Bowl run. Ends up with 2.5 sacks in this game. He was just a monster. They really couldn't stop him. So he was able to do his thing. But the biggest thing for me is that this offense looks bad. It definitely looks back. It does not look like the same offense, and it shows how much Joe Burrow being able to improvise adds to this offense. So I think if you're a Bengals fan, that is the best Joe Burrow performance that you've seen this season by far. It's not even close. The second best was probably his second half against the Ravens. But outside of that, the Bengals offense has been stagnant. It's been terrible. It has not been good. This was a team that scored 3 points on the road twice. Once in Cleveland, the other one in against the Titans. They finally go on the road and they're able to put 30 up. So for me, I was just happy to see the Bengals do that. And I think that with Joe Burrow being back, do not sleep on the Bengals anymore. That's all I'm going to say. Joey B, we gave people time. They got the L's and all of that stuff in. Joey B is back, and I think that he's ready. He's ready to try to make this run.
Such a week-to-week league, right? It is such a week-to-week league. I've been saying of the Bengals that I felt through even the losses and wins, the running mixing was so key. In the fact that you might say Sonny, but he didn't even break 100 yards. I think he rushed over 20 times. You're right, but just you putting to that defense that's saying like we're gonna run it, so you know it could be a run, can be a pass. Now we're mixing it up, so you can't just be playing bad, because if you play back now, you're just gonna be running down their throat. Um, I think it's important. I think it's a key for the Bengals' success moving forward. Just the threat that runner can have, right? I said it earlier in the year that I never understood why Bengals and Vikings, they were the two teams that came very openly and say basically we're not gonna be running team. We're basically gonna be forcing the pass for the most part. Bengals look like they're trying to curve from there. Uh, who knows what the Vikings are doing, but I think it's a recipe for success. Obviously, the Cardinals are a scrappy team, not a good team, but a scrappy team. So definitely not a ECW. But a game that I think the Bengals needed, an opponent that the Bengals needed as well, a road game, so they can see also, hey, we can do this on the road. It translates on the road or at home. So definitely, I think it was an important win that the Bengals got this week. Guru, I don't know how much of that game you watch, but what was your thought about the performance that the Bengals put on Sunday?
Yeah, I thought what Ace said, the discernment. I agree. Burrow finally having the 300-yard game, but was more the balance of the offense. How many targets the different receivers had, how many receptions they had. Jamar Chase had over 180 yards, but like you said, Irvin was able to pitch in. He was able to get good contributions from other guys that won't show up on the box score. Also, I thought the Bengals, Lou, he seems like he's getting more comfortable with his new secondary. A lot of guys, you don't want to break those guys in and confuse them as they're young players in terms of their confidence. So it looks like their defense is getting a little bit more that versatile, that multiple pre-snap motion, bringing guys into the box, rotating them out. DJ Turner, you don't get opportunity unless Awuzie plays. You don't get opportunity if the secondary hasn't necessarily been reeling. With Mike Hilton a little bit in the slot on third and longs. DJ Turner, maybe he's that Cam Taylor-Britt this year for them because you have a young guy who, Cam Taylor-Britt was in the fold last year because of the Woozy injury. So now you got DJ Turner that possibly can allow Mike Hilton to blitz more, and DJ Turner can be that cover guy in the slot. And then one more thing that I thought was really, really interesting was the D-line. DJ Reader, Trey Hendrickson, those guys seem like they're starting to get their mojo, and that's what the Bengals need. They need their interior pressure. They need their pass rush to be very, very dominant as they start to try to win some games and stack those wins up. But I thought the Cardinals are a team too that you don't take them lightly. They were 21 on the Giants. They had the Commanders. It was a 7-point football game versus the 49ers. So you play who's on the schedule, and you hope that it works out in terms of the Bengals getting some mojo, getting some continuity, and allowing their young guys to develop.
Okay, we have one super chat here that says Guru. Wait, hold on, I didn't share Guru. I want you being respectful today. That is from I Am Prime. Okay, before we go to the next game, I guess I'm doing too much thing. Let's talk about our sponsor, but I want to put that there. Okay, and I needed to do that. Okay, cool. Let's talk about our sponsor, Manscaped. We brought to you by Manscaped, who has taken a step up from Halloween to bring your face the cleanest shave it's ever seen. So this season, no need to toil and trouble. Manscaped is all new Handyman. It's the best way to get rid of the stubbles. Featuring a compact design and next-gen skin-safe technology, the Handyman was designed to give you the smooth finish without the mess of a traditional shave. Get the sweetest treat this Halloween by going to manscaped.com and use our promo code AFC North Talk for 20% plus free shipping. It may be spooky season, but you don't want to scare people with a scraggly beard. Give them something to look at with Manscaped's Handyman. Are you tired of bad razors making your neck look like a scary movie? With Handyman Skin Safe technology to help reduce nicks and cuts, you can finally feel confident when you going for that close shave. For wet or dry use, feel free to bring this anywhere and everywhere. The compact design and airplane friendliness make this the perfect travel tool from the go. And being able to shave up to 3 days growth without the mess of wet shave is priceless. And for my Wolfman, with a little more scruff, Manscaped Beard Edger Pro Kit has everything you need to tame your mane. This cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with a guard, all with one guard, so no more drawer full of extra add-on collective cobwebs. That's right, your Halloween costume may take effort, but your beard growing doesn't need to when you get the 20 different beard length in just one guard. The beer hedger is a high-tech piece of art in a traveling size package with a long-lasting battery, universal charging, and a strong motor. There's no tricks with this treat. Manscaped has you covered. All this, you can get 20% off and free shipping if you AFC North Talk and Manscaped.com. 20% off with free shipping. Manscaped.com. Use the promo code AFC North Talk. That's manscaped.com, promo code AFC North Talk. Okay, that being said, also we want, as I was saying, we can thank you enough for all the support that you guys provide each week with our patrons: Adam Holland, Don Gasula, Luis Cousin, Leo Sell, Ray Rack, Wesley, Oral, and Christian Rob. Thank you so much. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate everything. And for those of you that are not patrons, but you like the videos, you super chat, you comment, we do appreciate it as well. Aaron Clay here says, Sonny, you'll be back. You'll be back in the States, I'm assuming, for as long as yes, dude. Yes, as you can see, I have boxes. My office, this is not to deviate, my office has become, let's throw stuff there as everything is being right. So when you move, you have a lot of boxes. When you move overseas, you have a ton of boxes. I still enjoying with boxes. I only moved to my house like a month ago because when we moved here, I was in my sister's house, and then anyway, not too much information, but yes, and you might still see boxes for a couple more weeks. as I'm still trying to figure. But I have a concept that I want. You know how Ace has his orange wall and he has his amigos backdrop. I'm trying to figure out what to do in this wall, and then this will be flipped. So it's coming. It's coming. Not now, but it's coming at some point. Anyway, shout out to you, man. Appreciate that. Okay, let's talk about this horror of the week. For me, I know for Guru was good. Look, I said it. I said this was gonna be a close game. Now, was I expecting to lose? No, I'm not gonna lie here and say like, no. I thought we were gonna win. I think that basically every week. But I knew it was gonna be a close game. I knew it was gonna be a close game. Now, Guru, I'm gonna give you the first word, but I forgot who said to be disrespectful, and you can. I really don't care. But one question that I have for you, and then you can take it away. Do you think this game was mostly the Steelers winning the game, or the Ravens giving the game away, or a little bit of both?
I think John Harbaugh not taking the points before halftime was Brandon Staley-ish. That hasn't been talked about enough. Justin Tucker. It seemed like Lamar didn't even know to play. I remember Zay Flowers. They called timeout, a possession. I don't know what you guys.
Oh, so for that play, not to interrupt you, but so
Yeah.
you know the backstory. So it's 4th and 2, right? And I think the call was you're gonna line up to see if we can drop them offside, right? And Linderbaum, I forgot, it was somebody on your left side, I can't remember, or maybe Highsmith, I don't know, somebody on the left side in that play jumps. For me, it looked like a pass line of scrimmage. Whatever. It wasn't called. Linderbaum snaps the ball. I don't think Lamar was expecting it to snap the ball. Or if he was snapping the ball, he could have thrown it away, as he did, because he was expecting the 5-yard penalty for a first down. The problem that I have personally with that play is why are
Mhm.
you telling Linderbaum to snap the ball? Because
Right.
that's supposedly that was the play call. If you see somebody jump, snap the ball. Why is the guard not reacting? Because if you take the 5-yard penalty, you're still way into Tucker's territory, and what they're trying to do is take a first down in the red zone, right? And I get it, I understand that, but why are you telling Linderbaum to snap the ball? Why are you not telling your line to just react? Because that's the line. Because I can, as a defender, I can go forward and I can actually cross the line of scrimmage. So if I don't touch anybody, if I go back, right,
Right.
I'm still good. If they snap the ball, it's offside. But also, if you make the O line react, it's also offside. So that's what you need to do as an O lineman. You see the guy crossing to you, you react.
Yeah.
So that was my problem with the play call. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, I just think you missed an opportunity because
You left points on the board.
it was 7-3, and you didn't score any more points after that. It was 10-0, and you never capitalized or 10-3, and then you go to halftime up 13-3, and the way the Steelers' offense struggles, we don't know what that football game looks like, and then you look at the block punt. But I'm just gonna be honest with you, Sonny. John Harbaugh got out coached, and Harbaugh got out coached in a similar game versus the Indianapolis Colts that had Gardner Minshew. That did not have a shot, and for whatever reason, the Ravens they play down to their competition, and they also don't have any type of second half adjustment offensively. If you look at the Ravens' second half, it's I don't know what they're trying to accomplish. If they can't run the football, they ask Lamar Jackson to follow Ricard or follow Mark Andrews and run for 3 yards. Then they'll screen pass to Zay Flowers on the opposite side. If you make a good tackle, it's 3rd and 6. And then you're asking Lamar or Nelson Aguilar to catch the football or Rashard Bateman to catch the football. Those dudes, I mean, listen, in the NFL, tendencies are who you are. They're bad habits. It's just like a kid. If he has bad habits, you have to work on those things. Nelson Aguilar, he's been dropping passes.
I agree.
New England, since he was with Philly. Bateman, he can't stay healthy. So I hear the drops and most decade stuff, but the Baltimore Ravens were supposed to be a Super Bowl caliber team. You have Super Bowl aspirations. Lamar Jackson, with all the offseason and then these weapons like Zay Flowers, I'm not seeing it. And if the Steelers shut you out, listen, we don't have the secondary that the Browns, that the Buffalo Bills have. When you get into playoff football, you need playmakers to make plays. And the Ravens don't have one but number 8. And until the Ravens get the receiving core up to par, you're not going to win a divisional football game on the road. Pertaining to the Steelers, your offensive line got dominated. Alex Highsmith, I think, had 13 pressures in one game. Is just that's absurd. Then T.J. Watt, his ability to get to the quarterback, lead the NFL, 8 sacks. But the game changing play was the Justice Hills fumble. And I mean, and it's the same thing as Commander fans, Antonio Gibson. You keep putting guys out there fumble. How many times have you seen Justice Hill fumble? I mean, so you look at Larry Ojeanobi. You got the first down. He hit the ball.
Hell of a play for him. Hell of a play, by the way.
We needed it. The block punt, and then the Ravens. So I talked about the offensive. John Harbaugh doesn't make any second half adjustment on offense. He didn't make any second half adjustments on defense. You do not leave Marlon Humphrey single high with no safety over top against George Pickens. That's just ludicrous. Kenny Pickett, he literally audible because he saw the check, he saw no safety, and you have no answer against him. You have no answer. You have no pass rush. Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, the second half, they couldn't tackle. Jaylen Warren had like 9-10 missed tackles in the second half alone. So the Ravens have some problems. And how you figure a problem out is you go to London against a scrappy Tennessee team that's not going to lay down. The Ravens game, Steelers game, we knew it was going to be close. We didn't know that John Harbaugh was going to get outcoached by Mike Tomlin. I don't know if I could have told you that. I also don't know how do you feel losing to a team whose offense is George Pickens or bust? George Pickens doesn't have 130 yards. You might win by 10. So this loss for the Ravens should be a wake-up call, because what teams are going to do, they're going to continue to they're going to try to stop the run. They're going to put a spy on Lamar Jackson, and they're going to make those receivers make plays. Mark Andrews, I'm still waiting for that top 5 tight end that we saw 2 years ago. But this game is on Andrews dropping the red zone, Bateman's dropping the red zone, and quite frankly, you guys didn't adjust. You got to give the Steelers credit. They shut you out the second half. The defense played phenomenal. Miles Killebrew blocked punt. I think Jalen Warren finally getting the series, finally getting the feature running back might be what's best for this offense. And now the Steelers going to a bye week, number one in the division. Everybody makes excuses about injuries. Well, we didn't have Deontay Johnson. We didn't have Cam Hayward. I don't know what that team looks like with those two in a divisional game. I also think that Kenny Pickett is starting to get acclimated. He's starting to figure out, hey, I have a guy like George Pickens. Throw him the football. Don't force it. Lamar Jackson, no touchdowns and interception. You can't have that if you're supposed to be an elite quarterback, right? If you want to take that step, and you cried and wanted all the money this offseason, I have not seen this offense that everybody has told me would be high octane, different from Greg Roman, benefit Lamar Jackson. I'm not seeing it. You can blame the drops. The drops don't make an excuse for the route concepts, for the lackadaisical. It seems like if you don't run the football, how can you move the football? And one thing that I saw very dominant for the Steelers was their trenches. Their offensive line and their defensive line posed their will the second half. The Ravens, you did it. Marlon Humphrey, you might want to stop being on the podcast, brother. You might need to get in the weight room because George Pickens, he just keeps annihilating you, and you're coddling him on Twitter. Man, you should just worry about your own. And the Steelers, this should be good. If I told you that you would get to the bye week with a point differential of -31, that is the lowest in like decades, and you're number one in your division, and then you go to a bye week and you play the Rams, the Titans, the Cardinals. That's what the NFL is about, man. And the Steelers should be where they're at. I got one more thing for Mike Tomlin. I want him during the bye week to utilize his staff. Mike Sullivan, Glenn Thomas, these are offensive guys. Make the offense a little bit more versatile. You got Pat Freiermuth coming back from injury. You got weapons. You got to get these guys in space. You got to make sure that you're not asking guys to do stuff that they can't do. Like, don't ask Najee Harris to run in the teeth of the defense. Ask him maybe to run outside. Maybe don't ask him to run at all. Maybe use him as a decoy to get the pass. I think Charles Davis said it perfect. The Steelers that went run, and then pass. And then they were hoping that they can get a over-the-shoulder pass to George Pickens. We got to open this offense up. The offense necessarily won't be top 5. It won't be top 15. But, shit, it has to be over than 30, 32, 39. It's only 32 teams. I mean, it seems like it's worse than what it is. And you don't want to waste T.J. Watt. You don't want to waste Alex Highsmith, maybe the best pass-rushing duo in quite some time in terms of two guys that keep meeting at the quarterback.
Look, I think you're overblowing a bunch of stuff here. I will agree with some stuff you said.
Talk to me, yeah.
The game is basically the fumble. That was huge. I mean, the turnover margin, the turnover differential, that's game, right? 3-1. That any game usually swings to whoever has a +2 in the turnover margin. Andrews dropping in the end, so Bateman was even worse because Bateman had nobody nearby. The Aguilar was also terrible. Zay Flowers drops. Like, I haven't seen this team dropping, but you're saying it's a constant. It's not factual because they have not been like this throughout the year. Actually, I think they went from the lowest drop rate from the first 4 weeks to third highest in the league. So it's not like this is now. If you want to say, well, how can you trust Nelson Aguilar? I agree. This is Nelson Aguilar's career, dropping the pass. This is why he has been bouncing through team to team. Bateman, he doesn't have the dropsies throughout his career. His problem is staying healthy. I'm hoping he doesn't go to his mind. Obviously, as a Ravens fan, I want him to overcome this bad game because he had a terrible game. Flowers had a terrible game. Andrew had an okay game, but Andrew, you're saying Andrew's not a top 5. He came from a game that he had 2 touchdown passes caught, right, against the Browns. Against the Browns defense, so you're saying like, oh, how is the Ravens gonna lose? Gonna look against a Browns defense? Well, we scored 4 touchdowns against the Browns defense, 2 rushing and 2 passing, and you saying that the Steelers offense or that they figure something out. The Steelers literally have 1 play in this game. It was the play. I gave you that. It was the play. It was a long pass on a 1-on-1. Marlon got beat. I mean, It was
Don't forget,
well.
don't
Look a
forget
second.
the Jalen Warren.
It was well covered. I mean, what do you want to say about Jalen Warren? Did he rush for what? Let's
You
check
pay
out.
Roquan Smith. You pay Roquan Smith. You trade for him. Nah, you don't let an undrafted dude. This is back-to-back games.
So
In
wait.
Jalen Warren ran all over him. He ran all over him this week.
Listen.
That's
So you're
Roquan
saying so you're saying that I should be upset because Jalen Warren rushed for 40 yards.
You should be upset that you couldn't stop the Steelers in the second half with a premier all-pro linebacker.
Dude, but what are we talking about? It was one play for 40 plus yards, touchdown. If you take that away, which I'm not saying that you should, because that was the play that won the game. Great pass by Kenny Pickett. I'm not disputing that. Marlon wasn't play.
The Jalen Warren drive led to the George Pickens touchdown.
Okay, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I say, you know what, in that drive, Warren was amazing. Warren was God in that drive. Let me just say, Warren was God. One drive, right? We're talking about one drive, not the whole game.
That was his only drive where he was the feature back the entire series. It wasn't bringing in Najee Harris. It was just allowing him ran over. He jumped over your corner, ran Roquan Smith over for 6-7 yards.
I'm not saying he's trash. Look, I've been on Warren. Ace knows because we've been saying for a while. I said a couple years ago that Najee Harris was a bust. I actually said that. Tony knows. Tony was a previous Steeler guy. I said, like, Najee Harris, I don't know why you guys drafted him. I don't think he's good, blah, blah, blah. Right? I think Warren should get the ball more. I think he's good. This is not me. And if you ask me on defense, look, I would love to just hammer my defense. But hammer my defense on one drive, I don't think it's fair for my defense. My D-line was getting pushed. I agree with you. My trenches were – both sides of the trenches were just not great. The defensive line from the trenches for the Baltimore Ravens was getting pushed. Even when Najee was running, the problem with Najee, he can't escape from nobody, right? That's the problem with Najee. He cannot escape. He cannot. The O-line was actually pushing them and opening holes, but Najee, I don't know if it's in the systems. I don't know what it's with Najee, but he can't hit the hole quick enough to gain significant yardage, right? So my D-line was getting dominated. My O-line is getting dominated. Both sides. So I agree with you with that. My point is, you calling this defense, what are we gonna look? It was all out blitz. Was in the right call? Well, no. High Science 2020. Obviously, he got beat. Marlon Humphrey was half a step slow. Which should have they put Marlon Humphrey there? I mean, Marlon Humphrey's coming out of injury. They should have not put Marlon Humphrey in that situation, right? But he's their top corner. Marlon said that he thought that Pickens was going to go in. That's why he was playing him a little bit in. Pickens went actually go route, and obviously we all know what happened. Right. On the offensive side, look, again, offensive line got dominated. Stanley didn't have a great game, but even worse, for my Baltimore fans that are here, obviously when Macari, the backup right tackle, got injured and we put Fahalele, I would like a campaign to cut Fahalele. Fahalele it's a 6'8", 400-pound dude that cannot move. And then TJ Watt is there eating him alive in the second. Macari got lost early in the third quarter, if I remember correctly. And there's TJ Watt eating him alive. And after that, there was no offense. And I said this in the preview of the game that the Steelers, that we might lost both tackles, but we didn't lose both tackles. Stanley was there. But when the third right tackle came in, it was GE in that side, and it was penetration in and out. Obviously, in my opinion, we need a backup right tackle. Now, I would say this. Look, Steelers defense play well. Did the Steelers defense – I'm going to answer the question that I asked. I think it's a little bit of both. I think the Steelers won the game, and the Ravens give the win away. Give the game away. If the Ravens catch half of the passes, not even all of the passes, catch half of the passes that they drop. The ones there was 2 drops in the end, so easy completions, right? If they catch half, even with the turnover margin, we're looking at a Ravens W. So it's not like the Guru when you say like, oh, this is you guys did this against or the Steelers secondary is not that great, and we were able to stop the Ravens. I will actually argue the Ravens stopped themselves because they left a lot of points and yardage in the field in those plays, right? Now, if you want to talk about the pass rusher, yes, the pass rusher was eating them alive, right? And the Ogunjobi play was amazing. special teams for the Ravens. I would like you talk about Harbaugh. Harbaugh's a special teams guy. Our special teams this year has been atrocious. Not bad, atrocious. How is somebody coming clean through the middle to block that punt? We were lucky that the guy didn't get the ball for a touchdown. That's what the Ravens were lucky on. That was close to be a touchdown for whoever. I forgot who catched it. Or
Ronnie Williams, yeah.
But yeah, the Joey play. Look, Justice Hill. My problem with Justice Hill's always not a fan. As never been a fan of Justice Hill, but he's always trying to do too much, right? So it was a good run, right? But then he's trying to juke somebody in the middle of the field, and he has to know there's somebody coming behind him. Not even, I mean, it's surprising there was a D lineman, but what is he thinking? In the middle of the field, people are coming from all directions, and he's still trying to shake and bake somebody. Or when Joey comes, pushes the ball out. Great play by Ogunjobi. Great hustle play by Ogunjobi. Lamar Jackson, go ahead.
No, just going to ask you. So when do you start to realize that a Greg Roman offense is more effective than a Tom Monken offense? Did you know that the only time in Greg Roman's era, he didn't score more than 10 points versus Steelers? Like, that's like you said that the drops, I get the drops, the turnovers, but your offense of identity is you don't have a passing scheme unless you run for 80 yards. Lamar Jackson, you pick out the rushing yards. Gus Edwards ran for 40 yards. Justin Hill ran for 40 yards. Like, Greg Roman allowed you to stay ahead of schedule. Greg Roman allowed you in your scheme.
If you want
– Yep.
No, sorry. I didn't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. I just was curious. When do you think that the Monken offense identity might be overrated and might not be the best effect for Lamar Jackson? Because here's the question. You played the Texans, you got good results. You played the Browns, you got good results. It didn't look like anything versus the coach. You couldn't be Gardner Minshew, and you struggled against Kenny Pickett on one leg. And this is week 5 we're going into. So that's just my concern.
We didn't struggle against Kenny Pickett because that side of the ball did not struggle against Kenny Pickett.
Lamar Jackson to an interception.
Well, wait. That's what I'm saying. We did not struggle against that side of the ball, against the Kenny Pickett side of the ball, right? We struggle on offense on the second half. I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying, you said you struggle against a Kenny Pickett. Well, not Kenny Pickett. That they won't play.
You did.
But I think he was talking about the offense. I think he was like,
so on offense. Look, the Ravens offense, I think Q said that they were going to get some time, right? I think the Ravens offense, if you ask me, I think they're ahead of schedule. Now, against the Steelers, if you want to say against the Steelers specifically, would a Greg Roman offense would be better? Probably, because the Steelers struggle against the run, right? And Greg Roman, God bless his soul, he has so many different run concepts, right? They have team spinning. And if you are a bad defense against the run, you're going to get double exposed against a Greg Roman-led offense, right? So if you ask me against a Steelers-specific team, probably a Greg Roman offense is better. I wouldn't disagree with that. I guess other teams, all time will tell as the season is still early and young. Look, was I disappointed with the performance? Yes. I think before the game, before the stream, actually, I told you that Lamar Jackson had a good 55 minutes, right?
Right.
In the fourth quarter, he was pressure a lot, right? But there is a moment you have it in the red zone, and this was my fear, and I'm hoping this does not come true as this year goes. Lamar forces the ball to OBJ. Bad pass, bad force, to be honest. And then he said, well, I was just trying to, how was the quote? I don't want to misquote him, but he said, I was trying to let my guy make a play or something like that. I'm like, no. Why him? If you want to put Andrew on an island, right? A big body receiver against whoever, good. Second,
but you guys paid him $18 million.
It doesn't matter, Ace. Doesn't matter. You can pay him $100 million. Like Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is not somebody that you're gonna put on a go route to make a high point catch, right? It doesn't matter that doesn't mean that Cooper Kupp is a bad receiver. Cooper Kupp thrives in some other aspects, right? I don't think that is like, unless what Lamar was expecting, but doesn't look like it, that OBJ undercut Porter Jr., but OBJ didn't even attempt to do that. That pass was thrown inside, right? It was throw. Actually, you know what? It was throw to Joey Porter Jr. The pass was for him. It wasn't for OBJ. It was for him. I did not like that he forced that ball,
So
especially when. Especially when at that point, I think that game is 10-5. I think when that happened. So you take the 3 points, right? And you 13-5, you're 8 points, right? That if you talk about momentum shift with Justice Hill, I agree, and the punt, but definitely that put the nail in the coffin because at that point, you're now still up by 5. Steelers have all the momentum, right? Because Steelers are coming from a couple of turnovers. And then we know what happened because after that, after the pick, that's where the drive happened of the Kenny Pickens. Yeah, so I think that was bad for Lamar. And also, you get the ball, you are down by what, 4 points or whatever it was. You need to know my tackles are suffering, right? My tackles are suffering. My tackles are being beat. Plus, I have this mammoth of the guy here that is the same as putting a cardboard box there because he didn't doing much. He was actually the one that gets beat for a fumble. But I think Lamar has to be aware of that, right? I can't hold the ball too long. I can't. In this game, after Bakari left the game, you can't hold the ball. You can't hold the ball. TJ was just eating him alive. So obviously, and that happens to fumble. So yeah, look, GG for the Steelers. I think the Steelers. If I was a Steeler fan, this is how you're winning games, right? This is how you beat the Bengals. This is how the Browns and the Ravens now. But if you're the Ravens, I'm never encouraged by a loss, right? But you have to do some soul searching if you're the receiving, right? Because again, this is I keep saying this is a week-to-week league. We were talking about the Bengals, like, oh my god, they're so in trouble. Ace comes here today, very happy. Look, my Bengals are back. You're all in trouble. The league, the Burrow's back, right? And we're here talking about the Ravens being look at this receiver, right? When in 4 weeks we haven't seen this, and
that's
this
my
week,
concern. And that's my concern with you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily you, just the Ravens, right? Just two things real quick, and Ace, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
This is that your Ravens played against Matt Canada's offense. That's what I said, the Kenny Pickett conversation. Like you can sit up here or like be optimistic about like the box score. Matt Canada, he won versus the Ravens. And if your defense is elite offensively, if your offense is elite with Todd Monken and you have these weapons, you have to score more than 10 points. You can't allow Kenny Pickett and his team to go down the football field. And that's what I said. He did the same thing last year in Baltimore with no timeouts. So that's my issue with John Harbaugh is that he's complacent and he has the fan base saying, well, we lost the game because of drops. No, you didn't. You lost the game because you got out coached. You didn't make plays. You didn't put the guys in position to make plays. How many interceptions did you have? How many pass deflections did you have? That great defense, they didn't do anything but cardio is all I was saying, brother.
No, I would disagree with that because if you go check the whole year, right? This is again, you're talking a 1 game sample. The Ravens through the year had not been this. The Steelers have, right? The Steelers have been a high turnover margin team, right? We can all agree. We even said might have been UAs, might have been Q. I can't remember who. That we'll see when the Steelers cannot produce turnovers how that game goes, right?
Right.
Because that's how the Steelers have won that turn, and they're highly dependent on. And again, this game, they won by 2 the turnover mark, but that's not how the Ravens defense has been. The Ravens defense has been basically not allowing a lot of touchdowns, right? In this game, they allowed the 1 touchdown on the deep play. Other than that, they did not allow a lot of touchdowns, and that's how they've gone through the whole year. So I disagree with your assessment. I think the Ravens defense, like you want to say. Canada, I don't think Canada did anything special against the Ravens, right? No. If you want to see
he won the game, Sonny.
He won the game.
He did win the game for 1 play. So
but
again,
he did it when it mattered, man. He
no. But so you're saying if you have a game that your offense struggled because this is a whole team game, right? I agree. My offense was a no-show in the second half, right? Lamar Jackson makes the back pass for the interception, and then he fumbles. right? And even when they were there in the red zone, they got the ball in the red zone. The Steelers couldn't score, but they had the one drive, right? With
One
which
second.
which
That was pass interference in the end zone, Sonny. Millet on Pickens. That was PI.
Nah, it wasn't. It wasn't. And to be fair, this is why I don't think it wasn't, because how they were calling the game. Right? It all depends how they're calling the game. Like I'm always very clear as if they're letting them play, and they were letting them play both sides, right?
Yeah.
I'm not here saying that the rest were bad. Even in the one play that I think they might have missed with Linderbaum snapped the ball. This game, somebody in the NFL or the head of the refs basically said, you know what? We don't want to interfere. And I prefer those games, to be honest. We don't want to interfere. We want to let these guys play. Unless it's outrageous, we don't want to interfere, right? And that's how they call it. So I cannot, if they would have been calling tacky here and then they don't call that, I get it. But not in that, not how they were calling the whole game. So I think that was consistent to how they call the whole game. But going back to my point, if you want to say because of one drive, Canada outcoached our defense, you go ahead. I wouldn't say that, right? It will be the same if the Steelers would have shut us down completely.
We did.
Listen,
it was 10-0. You didn't score anymore.
Listen, if you would have let me finish, if the Steelers would have shut us completely, and then at the end of the game, we go and make a long pass for a touchdown, I wouldn't come here with my chest high and say, like, our offense, look, our Monken just beat Tomlin, right? I wouldn't. If it is because of one play, they struggled the whole game, I wouldn't come in here and say, like, look at our offense. Look at how much our offense did to your defense. Because that wouldn't have been true. It's one drive. If you want to say it was the drive that mattered, sure. Was Kenny Pickett flushing that play? Yes. Was the pass perfect and on point? Yes. The Pickett beat Marlon Humphrey? Yes. All that could be true. But I cannot in good conscience say, like, oh, yeah, but also Canada dominated our defense, because that's not true. That's not true. And we can be here intellectually honest and say, no, the offense of the Steelers struggle, and they have one really to great drive. I think they drove 70 or 80 yards. That was really good to great drive, one in the whole game. And if you want to consider that as oh, yes, look at how great my offense was against their defense, then I'll let you go ahead. I wouldn't say that. But anyway.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree.
Yeah, for me, I gotta butt in here, man. You don't get coulda, woulda, shouldas don't go into the win and loss column. Like, I'm hearing too much nasty stuff here. Like, I get the receivers made drops. Lamar Jackson fumbled the football, fellas, at the end of the game. That is what ended the game. He also threw an interception that let JPJ back into the game. To say that the Steelers did not earn this victory,
that's not what I said.
They made plays to get back in the game.
That's not what I said.
Like, they threw a deep bomb on the Steelers against Marlon Humphrey, who you guys have said is an elite corner, and they made plays. And this was a Matt Canada offense that was literally the 32nd offense. They've been as bad as the Bengals, and they scored more points than you. That is what Guru is saying. For this Ravens offense, if we were coming into this game, I literally said it on here. The Ravens should blow the Steelers out. Why? They have the better quarterback in Lamar Jackson. He's in a whole different galaxy than Kenny Pickett. They've got a better tight end in Mark Andrews. The Steelers are missing their tight end. They didn't even have a tight end for this game outside of Washington. And then when you look at the wide receivers, we all sat on here and said the Ravens have improved at wide receiver. They have Zay Flowers. They have a better collection of receivers. They don't have a better receiver than George Pickens, but they have a better collection of receivers than the Steelers. You got Zay Flowers, you got OBJ, you got Rashad Bateman. They didn't make the plays. It's not up for the Steelers to allow the Ravens receivers to make catches.
Nobody's saying that.
It doesn't work like that.
Nobody's saying that either.
It doesn't work. But here's the thing. We talk as if the Ravens have looked like this unstoppable force in 4 weeks, and they have not.
You said that too.
They have not looked like that
either.
Like, if we're talking about woulda, coulda, shoulda, you could have said the same thing about the Colts game. If they make these plays and it doesn't go into overtime, the Ravens win that game. They, like, 10 weeks from now, we're not gonna care about that.
Right.
If you're trying to get into the playoffs and they care about seeding, they're not gonna say, well, the Steelers didn't really win that game, or the Steelers are number one in the AFC North because
nobody's saying that either.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying the Steelers didn't win that game.
You went into Cincinnati.
It's like, did the Ravens give it away, or did the like?
My argument. My argument. No. I said it was a little bit of both. You can say, look, that the Steelers defense played well, right? And you can also say your offense. It could have been the Steelers. It could be any offense. You can say that defense played well against me, but I also had opportunities against that defense, right? And my team didn't perform.
You didn't capitalize, but
my point against two
got
things can be
outcoached.
right.
Sonny,
Two
Sonny, you
things
got
can be
outcoached.
right.
But this is what I'm saying. It's almost taking credit away from the Steelers because the Steelers were made plays in all three phases. Even on special teams, you had a guy making a return to do certain things. Like to me, like I said, the Steelers have had to do some uncharacteristic things to be in this game. I mean, TJ Watt getting 2 sacks. Are we going to act like TJ Watt isn't the NFL Defensive Player of the Year and he didn't have the biggest play made in that game? Like, we can't do that.
I already said all this. All I was arguing here was you cannot tell me that Matt Canada beat this team because
I'm not saying he did though. Matt Canada did beat the team. I'm not saying he dominated you guys, but when it came down to the point where the Steelers needed to drive down the field, which I'm sitting there as a viewer and I'm like, I don't know if Matt Canada can do this because Matt Canada isn't a good play caller. How are they gonna drive down the field and get these points when they can't really score like that? But
the momentum was shifted at that point. I knew it was coming.
And you said that George Pickens was the only or one drive. No, that's not true. Matt Canada, he got creative. It was a jet sweep where he had Jalen Warren in the slot and he motioned him, and that's when he jumped over Ronald Darby for the first down.
And I'm not just saying that it was just Matt Canada, but he definitely played a role in them winning the game. And then here's the other thing. The only way I thought that they were going to win is where there's that safety play. And a lot of people at first thought it was a touchdown, right? A lot of people were like, oh, it's a touchdown. When they didn't get that, in my head as a viewer, I'm like, I don't know if the Steelers can go down and get like a touchdown. I don't know because Matt Canada has looked horrible this season. And they were able to do that. Like, for me, it's a divisional game. Sonny, you said that it was going to be a close game.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm not hearing though, because if Joe Burrow was in that game and Joe Burrow threw an interception in the fourth quarter and fumbled, I would not hear the last of it from the Ravens flock. I would not.
Or a fumble.
I would not. We would all sit on here and everybody would say Burrow didn't stand up, and if he's supposed to be that guy, he's supposed to make that play.
Where was the 4 touchdown game at for Lamar Jackson? That was because of the drop.
But here's the other thing. People told the Ravens OBJ paying him $18 million was a mistake. Mm-hmm. They told you that. He hasn't been able to play in a lot of these games. I'm not mad at Lamar for trying to go to him in that situation because if they have made this connection, if he's supposed to be the guy, he's supposed to make that play. You said that OBJ never made that play before. Yes, he did. He made it in the Super Bowl against my Bengals, against Mike Hilton. Look, he went up and high pointed it for a touchdown.
Mike Hilton and OBJ are about this size.
It still was a play where he threw it up and he went up.
My point is, they're about these size. They're basically the same type.
But is Joey Porter Jr. on a rookie? I mean, is him on a rookie corner?
Yeah, but Joey Porter Jr. can still jump. And we're talking about
but he threw it to the inside, did he not?
No. Hey, whoa. By the way, what Ace is saying here, because he's putting words in my mouth, I want everybody to just go about 15 or 20 minutes ago when I said Lamar Jackson threw a bad ball. He threw it to Joey Porter Jr., not to OBJ. And then Lamar Jackson shouldn't know the
OBJ?
pressure.
That's my point. Why are we blaming
I
OBJ?
didn't blame OBJ. I said the play should have never gone to OBJ. I think you're not listening to what I said.
I heard what you said, but I'm telling you, there was a play in the Super Bowl where the exact same thing happened, and OBJ was able to make the play.
I understand. It also depends who the defender is, right? But at the end of the day, if Lamar throws it how he's supposed to throw it, I still don't think OBJ should have been the guy for that play, but it shouldn't be a pick because you throw it high enough.
So who is the guy supposed to be? Zay Flowers?
What do you mean for that particular play for a fade route?
If you're paying OBJ $18 million to be the number one receiver, who else is supposed to get the ball?
I mean, it could be OBJ. I'm just saying that play call against Joey Porter Jr., that specific call in that moment shouldn't be OBJ. Could be the pass to OBJ. I'm just saying that route shouldn't be to OBJ. If you want to put that route, isolate somebody, look to isolate Mark Andrews, right?
So you're not saying the route shouldn't be ran. You're saying with the matchup, given the matchup, that shouldn't have been
if you have Joey Porter Jr. against him, I would have gone and put a comeback in for OBJ against Joey Porter Jr. He probably
Well, it was
cooks
like at
it.
the 4 yard line too, Sonny.
It doesn't matter because they're all the way there in an island. So OBJ can pivot out, and
Yeah.
Joey Porter Jr. thinks it's gonna be a fade route. OBJ is shifty enough, and then cut inside. Right? There was no steal. I understand why he went to the fade route. There's nobody there. It's all
Yeah.
there too. My point
I
is,
just want you to know that, just as a Raven fan, you have to have higher expectations.
I do.
1 second, brother. If you fired Greg Roman, who was top 5 in rushing, who was the lowest number 9 in his every career as OC, and then you're bringing in Tom Monken, and you're in a divisional game against a team that doesn't have the number one receiver, that doesn't have their tight end, this offensive line has been one of the worst in football, one of the worst offensive in NFL history, and you score 10 points, and then you say to your team, oh, we scored 10 points because we dropped the football. No, you didn't adjust. You didn't have a running game. You didn't have a contingency plan. And that's the issue for Raven fans. You're so used to complacency. You're so used to it.
I have a question for both
For
of you.
me too, man. For them to score when they scored in the second quarter when it was 10 points, there was 10 minutes left in the second quarter, fellas.
Right.
They did not score in basically the rest of the second quarter, the third quarter, or the fourth quarter. That is not acceptable, bro.
And you missed the field goal, too. So 13-3, based on how it goes, you might win the game if you kick the field goal in the 4th and 2.
I don't disagree with that. I think we're talking past each other, but I have a question for y'all. What is an OC supposed to do?
Adjust. Give Lamar Jackson plays that fits his skill set. If the Steelers are
no, not in this game. I'm saying an OC in general. What is an OC?
Make the OC's job is to do what's best for the offense.
To put the quarterback in a good position, right?
Right.
And a good position for the quarterback is to have open receivers, correct?
Correct.
To scheme to open receiver. So if there's a fucking open, and sorry for my language, demonetized, I know, open receiver, and they don't catch, how is that a monkey? We're not talking only about the Aguilar one, because I do agree. We have Aguilar in this team, but if he doesn't catch the ball, am I shocked? No. But you can't blame him for scheme. Say Flower fell twice in balls that he should have catch, right? And he dropped those. Bateman and the end zone, drop it. Mark Andrews and the end zone, drop it. So you're saying, oh, Monken had these guys there to make plays. The guys did not make the plays.
Do you think running in the red zone? I saw you called 2 delayed runs. 2 design runs for Lamar Jackson in the red zone versus the Browns. Why didn't you run more in the red zone Sunday? The Steelers' weakness was running the football. Okay, that's what OCs do.
I agree, but you cannot. Okay, yes, we could have run the ball. But if you tell me, hey, you could have run the ball and maybe you get there in the touchdown, or there was in those 3 attempts, I think we ran 1, but in the other 2 attempts, twice a receiver was open in the end zone that they dropped the ball. Twice. I cannot blame Tom Monken on that. So for me, I can say, Monken, you scheme Mark Andrews, you scheme Bateman, they're wide open and they didn't catch it. Damn, Monken, why do you do that? How can I say that to the OC? That's his job. Scheme the play. The guy was open. The guy did not make the play. Is that a Monken? No. Bateman, what the F? Mark Andrews, what the F, right? That is the problem. I'm criticizing my team. I don't know if you're hearing me because I'm very critical of Lamar Jackson. I always am, especially as soon as a quarterback gets paid, my expectations go from here to here. I will never have the same expectation for Kenny Pickens that I do for Lamar Jackson, Sean Watson, and Joe Burrow, right? Because those guys decided to get the bag, and when you get the bag, the rest of the team suffers, right? So that being said, that's why in that position, I'm gonna repeat everything I said. I don't agree. If you talk about OC, I don't agree. Then Monken had a fade route to OBJ there against Joey Porter Jr. because Joey Porter Jr. is a tall receiver. It's gonna be a hard catch.
Sonny, isn't that Todd Monken calling that play?
Ace, let me say it slower. I just said that if you want to talk about my OC, I don't agree that he left OBJ running a fade route against Joey Porter Jr. That's what I just said. Now, that being aside, because Lamar could have just throw it high and let it go, because if you take the field goal, you're out by 8. Lamar threw a horrible pass. And I'm going to say this again. He threw it to Joey Porter Jr. and
So
not OBJ.
who does the blame go on there?
Yeah, who does
There's blame to go all around, right?
No, not the receivers. Don't say the receiver drops. That's redundant.
That's part of it. That is part of it.
So what else was the reason?
I think
so. Marlon Humphrey getting beat on an island for pretty much the game. Where does that rank?
That is both on Marlon and both on the DC, right? I would say more on the DC, because again, you have Marlon Humphrey there, and he literally first game, and you know also that Humphrey, he does struggle against Pickens, right? He does, and he said it before that he thinks he's the hardest. He hasn't said Chase. He said Chase is a tough receiver, but he has said Pickens gives him the most trouble, right? So he knows that and put him on the island. He basically put the bet: we either get to Kenny Pickett, or we are gonna get for a touchdown. Did Marlon play horribly? He didn't play horribly. The pass was perfect by Pickett, right? So Steelers fans, I'm giving credit here. Pass was perfect. You couldn't throw a better ball than what Pickett threw there. Great catch by Pickens, right? And Marlon got beat. Marlon got beat. So yes, in that play, if you also want to put another bet, I think Lamar, although I can say there's a bunch of plays that the receivers fail Lamar. This is why I say 55 minutes. I think Lamar played a great game for 55 minutes.
You got built up. The Gunnar Olszewski fumble too. And did you score in that possession?
No, that was the pick. That was the pick.
And that's what I'm telling you. That's not on Monken.
The other thing is, why do these fumbles keep happening, man?
Yes.
Number 7.
Wait, that part I don't know. That is something that I've been baffled. I'm not sure how to correct it, because that's something that Harbaugh has always tried to carry.
That's why I don't like the coulda, shoulda, woulda things, because Lamar could have had 8 fumbles against the Bengals and they caught a penalty. But that's why you don't play the coulda, shoulda, woulda game, man.
When you are analyzing a game, by the way, you are gonna bring everything up. Are you not gonna bring the passes? Are you? So if you're
I literally played in a Super Bowl where they called a pass interference on Logan Wilson to lose a Super Bowl. Shit happens. Like there's nothing that could happen that's more worse than that on the biggest stage. It happens.
True. And again, I said it was a great play by Kenny Pickett and Canada calling that one play. Sure, you can. Again, I just think we apparently cannot do 2 things at once. We cannot say the Steelers offense was not great, but in that one drive they were great. We can't say that, because we have to say because I said that, and apparently I'm not being fair here.
Bro, I literally said that they were one of the worst offenses in the NFL.
You did. But then you said that you cannot let,
because you tried to take credit away from Matt Canada drawing up something at the end of the game. I'm not saying Matt Canada had a master class against the Ravens.
Exactly.
What I said was when the game was on the line and he needed to come through, which I personally didn't think he was coming through. I don't know if you caught that.
So if Mike Tomlin
came through.
So Sonny,
Mike Tomlin did outcut John Harbaugh, by the way. Yeah. Yes, I agree with you with that too.
So if Matt Canada only had 1 drive the whole game, how many good drives did Tom Monken have?
He had a couple. Again,
in the first half.
Even in the second half, right? Even if you want to talk, there were some plays that they were moving off the ball, and then. But if you want to say the Steelers in the second half dominated the Ravens offense, yes, I agree with you with that too.
And one more thing, you were before Sunday, were you not number 1 in National Football League in red zone efficiency and red zone scoring?
We did.
Do you know what you were this week?
I don't know. 1 from 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I came into this game. You can rewind the tape. I said that the Ravens were winning this game. This was an opportunity for the Ravens
too, I think,
to go up 3-0 in the division on the road. The road.
Yes, and we let it get away. See, I'm agreeing. I think you guys. I'm agreeing.
Open the division right back up. It is complete.
Yes, I agree with
the Browns on a bye week. You have the Steelers in first place now. You have you guys tied with them, and now the Bengals are only 1 game back. Like
yes,
the entire.
I don't disagree with none of that. None of that I disagree. And the efficiency. Look again. The 4th down, Harbaugh was their baffle, and
Mhm.
if you want to talk about coaching, yes, Harbaugh, what the f? Again, I'm not a head coach, and I would have said to the display center, you don't snap it because you're in the red zone. And look, I don't disagree. Go lined up. I don't disagree with that. Go lined up, and in the rest of the O line, if you want a false start because you think the guy jumped, whatever. Tucker can make it instead of 40 for 45. Whatever. I don't disagree for them to try to get the 5 yards so they can try to score a touchdown instead of a field goal. That is fine. Obviously, it was a blunder that the center snapped the ball, but that's on coaching, right? I agree with you. Tomlin outcoached Harbaugh, right? That's not even a Munkin, right? If anything, it's more on the O-line coach. But anyway, and on
I would say this too before, like, attacking my guy Guru just because he's not saying what you Ravens fans want to hear is not
it's
cool,
cool,
bro.
yeah. No, it's cool.
It's not cool. Like,
wait, who's attacking Guru? I'm
no, I'm not saying you, Sonny. I'm talking about the Ravens fans.
I mean, but it's like Twitter though. Most of them don't know
Yeah.
12 personnel. It's cool, man. We appreciate them listening. We appreciate them
It's
listening.
weird. If Tony was here, it would not be an echo chamber, bro. Tony would be raising hell as well. I mean, it is what it is. You got to let people get their takes, bro. They're not gonna say everything that you want to hear.
Well,
People aren't
that's
gonna
the
say
beauty
everything that I want to hear about the Bengals. People
Agree.
aren't like. It is what it is.
That is the beauty of the AFC North, right? We have fan base for each. There's a podcaster here for each. Obviously, Q's not here today because, again, under the weather. Shout out to Q. Hopefully, he feels better. But that's the whole point. This is what is the cool part of it. My guy Guru here. It's not like I'm gonna be like Guru. I won't talk to you again, right? We're disagreeing. We're fine. It's a respectful, heated discussion, but that's fine. And also, it's not scripted. We neither of us knew what we were gonna say.
It's random scripters. I mean,
Yes, but I did say, and Guru also said it. This was always gonna be a close game. That part I knew was gonna happen, right? Ace, I know you said it's gonna be 10 plus or whatever. I no, I think I said by 4 the Ravens, and I knew it was gonna be a close game. I think I said 17-13, which ended up being 17-10, I think. But the Steelers, like it was. Does the Ravens have issue? I think they have soul searching to do. Like, I know you guys don't want to hear about the receivers, but no, the receivers have soul searching to do. How are we gonna prevent this? Right? You cannot have this many drops in a game, right? I'm not one to say to give cover to Lamar. No, but those passes should have been caught. They weren't that difficult passes. Lamar, you have some soul searching to do too. What the F was that pass? No, I'm gonna try to give a play to my guy. Well, even if you're trying to do that, that was not a good throw. OBJ never had a chance. The only chance OBJ had was maybe to OPI that ball, but he had no chance to catch that ball. And also, you have to be aware of your surroundings. If your right tackle is not only struggling, you're in the third right tackle, and TJ Watt is lying on the other side. You need to know, hey, this pass rusher is coming quick. So you need to be aware, right? So all that needs to be soul searching. The special teams for the Ravens need to do some soul searching. And on the defensive side, look, if you want to talk about a problem, because you pointed it out, but this is not new, pass rushing. The pass rushing for the Ravens is not existing.
Right.
It was not existing in this game again. Any O-line will look better against the Ravens because our pass rushing is 0 to none. We get sacks by blitzing or by coverage. The corners, in my opinion, play well enough to win this game. Safeties, sure. We're not gonna be a high turnover team. That's not what the Ravens have been this year. We are basically a team that is gonna prevent you from scoring, and that is fine if your offense is scoring. Obviously, your offense will stop in the second, specifically in the second half. But I would say probably at the end of the second quarter and beyond, your offense was not existing. There was balls being moved or there was yardage gained. But at the end of the day, it's whoever puts in more points. And the Steelers did it. And the Steelers won the game. Okay. That being said, by the way, I love the discussion. I would say I love heated discussion. I love it. Johnny here says, watching the Raiders and Steelers embarrass themselves over and over was almost as fun as watching the Bengals finally score points. I don't think it was necessarily embarrassing. It was definitely a Steelers Ravens game. It was definitely a Steelers Ravens game.
Good game.
Yeah. LJ, great, but has 11th fourth quarter interception, no clutch like. There's the Tom Brady. On brand Nova Stone. Shout out to you, man. Habitual line stepper says, "Stop it. We all know Kenny muted Canada on play." That's funny. Sonny, thank you for the tip. Give JPJ more snaps. Oh, Joey Porter Jr. Oh yeah, I said that earlier in the year. That's right. I forgot. Yeah, I mean, he was. I forgot who was there, but he wasn't playing better than a second round rookie. So that's like if the veteran's playing better than the rookie, go. But if the veteran's playing like a rookie will play, then might as well give the snaps to the rookie and let him learn on the job. Need to hire Matt Mexico to bring spice to the offense. Let me see here. At the end of the day, we can all agree that the Steelers own the North and the Browns are embarrassment to the division. TJ Defensive Player of the Year. Do we agree? Look, I will say this. The thing with specifically the Ravens, every sure Ace will have a different take. Myles Garrett this year played the best game that I see him play against the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, TJ Watt is usually between the two, the one that wrecks the game the most against the Ravens. That's just I'm gonna again put the caveat specifically.
I actually go with TJ Watt. Like I go with TJ Watt because he's gotten the Defensive Player of the Year. I looked at it because we did AFC North rankings, and so that made me look at the numbers. I would actually give the edge to TJ Watt just because he's got the accolades. Until Myles Garrett gets a Defensive Player of the Year, I got to go with TJ.
And you're not going to like this, Sonny, but Alex Highsmith played better than the Ravens versus Myles Garrett, too.
Alex Highsmith played better. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't disagree with that either. But I'm just saying.
But not for DPOY. Absolutely not. Yeah.
The only thing that I always struggle with Myles Garrett, because he's a hell of a player, is, and CFM might not like this, Garrett has never had as much help as TJ Watt. I think we can all agree with that. So I think the Ravens have been able to scheme for Garrett easier they have been to scheme against TJ Watt. They have always had difficulties to scheme TJ out of the game. TJ Watt always finds a way to be in the game, to make his
that's true.
presence felt.
You gotta give TJ Watt the credit this year of doing it without Cam Hayward because Cam Hayward went down.
True, but he still has a sidekick on the other side that is a hell of a player.
But so does Myles Garrett now. He's got Zadarius Smith.
And again,
right now that Myles Garrett might have the better supporting cast.
That's what I was gonna say. I will pick TJ, but I will right now I will not pick C over Highsmith. Highsmith is a way better player than Zadarius Smith. Not even close. Now you can say
way better.
Yes, Highsmith is up there. I think we don't talk about Highsmith enough. Highsmith is now if you want to say the totality of the defense, that the Browns have a better totality of the defense than the Steelers. Yes, the better sidekick. I mean, Highsmith, if he didn't have TJ Watt like he didn't have last year, we will be talking him as a top rusher probably by itself. The problem,
I'm not going to disagree.
Not a problem. It's good for him that he has TJ, but because he has TJ, he always will be in the shadow until TJ starts taking steps back, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he lives with that, and he's okay with that, right? But if he was in the Ravens, for example, and he'd be eating like he's eating, people will be talking to him like maybe top 5, top 6, maybe top 10 rusher. So Darius Smith might be a top 30 right now, but not top 10.
I mean,
I said top 30. I said top 30 because I don't have in front of me. Like I know there's Burns, there's Bosa, there's all this, and he's probably 15-ish. But I think if we probably like analyze Highsmith, he's probably a top 10, or he's floating in the 10.
Hold on. We think Alex Highsmith is a top 10 pass rusher in the NFL.
I think
Yeah,
he
he has
floats
to
in the
be.
10. Yeah,
He got
I
he
think he
got
floats around
Are we
10,
saying
9.
from statistically, or we're saying in your opinion?
But
statistically
no, I think,
Oh, statistically. Okay, I was gonna. Okay.
but
because he got the
even
most
when you see it,
sacks since like 2022. You look at the pressure rate. He does stuff that doesn't
yeah.
show in the jumbotron.
Yeah, so even just by watching the game, look, we can go back last year when he
Mhm.
didn't have TJ. He was
No,
great.
I like Alex Highsmith, but
Top
Zadarius
10.
Smith just had 10 sacks last year. He had 13 the year before that.
But
And he had
he's not
12.
bad. I'm just saying Highsmith is better. He's not bad. I'm just saying Highsmith is better right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
but we at the end of the year we'll see the problem that TJ may have, unless he breaks the sack record, and which I'm not saying he can't. TJ tied it already 1 year. Is if the Steelers don't make the playoffs, and there's another player having on the defensive side having a great year as well, they might lean on the other team player. Now, if he breaks the sack record, doesn't matter whoever does whatever. Doesn't matter if the team makes or doesn't make the playoffs. He should win it, or he's going to win it. Sorry. Aaron Clay here says the AFC North needs to stop donating games to the Steelers Patreon so they don't have a losing season. Hey, we talk about this. Tomlin will figure out a way to have at least 9 games. There's no way Tomlin does not win at least 9 games. And again, shout out to the Steelers. They, at the end of the day, they took care of business. They won the game. Against a divisional opponent, they're first. This is why Guru's there on the corner, right? On the corner top. They did what they needed to do. They won, and they're top going to the bye. I'm hoping they're not on top. Because that means that we won. This
We
week.
still be on top because we're 2-0 on the division.
Yeah, but we will have one more win. So by percentage, right? It's basically a joke. I just mean like if we win, in theory, if we lose, then we're not gonna be on top. So I'm hoping we'll win this week. Anyway, we'll be back on Friday, 5:30. You should be back. Thank you for watching. Go check Manscaped. Great products. You won't regret buying products from Manscaped. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.